Hey everyone, Jim T. Graham with RC Groups. I'm excited today to not only hang out with my old friend Randy Cameron from the AMA. What's happening, Randy?
Hey, I'm happy to be here and excited about showing the process of getting a NOTAM to all of our members or all of our friends.
So, if you're like me, maybe you are, you've had an event. I think the Pro Bro or the Nash Bro that we're going to talk about today, I should really know the exact number of years, but I think we're rolling on around
Oh,
20 or 21 years now. Yes.
oh yeah, easily.
It dep the reason it depends is because it started out at one field and then it switched to a pasture. And this year, I went through the process of talking to the AMA and getting my event sanctioned, which I do every year. But with the NOTAM requirement and some other things, I was fully unsure of how to proceed. And I thought, what better to do than get in touch with Randy at the AMA and find out exactly what not only I need to do to have an event in a pasture, but what you need to do as well. So Randy's going to walk us through this and then give us inside tips as well, right?
I'll try to do that. Yeah.
So this is my event. This is Nashbro. Um, this is I'll turn the volume down so you don't have to hear the music, but this is the pasture that we fly out of. And there is a tiny little town right behind the trees to your left, but this is not an AMA sanctioned field, nothing like that. It's just a bunch of glow planes. But this year, I want to say, Randy, that if you can fly off the grass, we would love to have you at our event. I'm reaching out to club presidents to say, please tell your members that they are welcome at Nashbro. This is not the old Nashbro of just profile planes. We've gotten a little older, so we fly sailplanes, we fly Cubs, we fly anything you could fly off grass, you can fly at
Yeah.
this event. But with that said, to have the event, I need to get right with the FAA. So, would you say the first place to go is the fact that the AMA provides on their site?
I would. That AMA blog goes through the process fairly well, um, and it's pretty simple to do, really.
And so after reading through this, it does seem simple, but I still feel a little weird, not weird, but I still don't feel comfortable with the whole process. I read this from top down, and I think that going backwards almost makes more sense for me. Um, so let's start here. The first question, or the first thing you need to do is sanction your event,
Correct.
and you do that through the AMA.
Yeah, you have to be an event manager or contest director to be able to do that. But yeah,
And so you either contact the contest director to work with you on this. I became a contest director years ago, so I'm able to do that. And one thing I'll say that's really good is once you do this once, it saves a lot of your information. And so you can go in there and it's a lot simpler process after you get it through once. Um, why does the AMA need a NOTAM? First, let's say this. What does NOTAM stand for?
notice to airmen.
Okay. And the AMA is required to keep records of all sanctioned events that are operating under the Remote ID Authorization and Altitude Waiver. And then the AMA provides that info to the FAA. Yes.
Correct.
Okay. If I forget to file a NOTAM, your event would not qualify for the Remote ID Altitude Waiver. And you would, and so this was the first question I got and what led to this. Somebody said, do we need to broadcast remote ID information from our craft? So if we do what we're about to talk about, that is not a requirement.
That's correct.
Okay. And
It,
yeah,
when you talk to them, they ask you what your NOTAM is going to be for, and so of course you tell them it's just a AMA event basically, and that you want a certain altitude, 1,200 feet is max, and you may or may not actually receive that 1,200 feet. But you also tell them that you want be a temporary FRIA, and so that will eliminate the need for any remote ID module in your aircraft.
okay. So the interesting part is it says call this number. And is there an actual person that's going to talk to me or is this a recording?
Yes, and one thing it does is it looks at the area code that you're calling from and says, "Are you in Tennessee?" And if you had, like my son has still has his phone numbers from California and he lives in Arkansas. If it's not, you hit the button one and you tell it which state, and then it sends it to a person. Otherwise, it just goes to a person.
And so you'll be prompted to answer questions such as, and we're about to go over this, longitude, latitude of event, event time, altitude flying, and you must file 24 hours before, but you recommend 7 days ahead of the event.
Up to 7 days, not any more than 7 days before the event.
Not any more than 7 days. So if I
Correct.
do it today, that's bad. I need to wait.
Right. Yes.
Oh, that's a big one, everybody. So uh, go into a 7 day window when you do this.
It's actually a 6 day window because at 24 hours, 1 day before at least the minimum.
Wow. Okay. So I am on Google Maps, and Randy was talking to me before I hit the button. And so I went and found the field, and this is the field right here that we fly in. And you said to right click and grab the numbers.
Which is numbers that Google use and GPSs may use that, but it's not the actual latitude and longitude. So like if you paste it up there in the search.
Right. So I'm going right here. You can see my mouse moving, and I'm going to paste. Just to be clear again, you right click, and it's the first numbers that are there.
Correct.
And then I paste it into this window, and then I hit search, I guess.
Or enter, whatever. Yeah.
Enter, yeah. And then these numbers that I'm highlighting, that's what the FAA wants.
Correct.
So when I make my call, I will have those numbers in my written down and ready to say or state the event date, time, and then the altitude flying. So talk about that. You were saying you have a ProBro event coming up, and you just had to go through this process.
Correct. I asked for 1,200 feet, but due to an airport that's near our location, they only allowed 700. And when you're all done with this process from for the NOTAM, they'll give you a number, and you forward that to an email address in the AMA, which we'll have to show in that document here in a few minutes. And then they will go out and look at the NOTAM that was actually issued and send you a copy of it if you need it. But they'll tell you they'll send you a certificate that shows what altitude you're actually allowed. And mine was only 700, even though I asked for 12.
Because of the air traffic,
Correct.
which should not be an issue with ours. But so what you're saying is you're not guaranteed 12. It's based on what the assessment is of the situation.
Exactly. Exactly.
So a new NOTAM must be filed for each event. So that means that each year, I and you and everyone else will have to file for their NOTAM.
Correct.
Then we take our NOTAM number, and so they when they will they send me an email or text it to me?
No, he'll just tell you what the NOTAM number is. You write that all down, and then you send the what's the email address?
Waivers at modelaircraft.org.
Yes, yeah, waivers. Yeah, correct. Waivers at modelaircraft.org. You send them that number along with the information about your event, your sanction number, whatever, and then they'll send you back within. Mine was within an hour.
Right.
Uh, the waiver piece that you get.
And so is that the whole process? I mean, there's no.
Pretty much. I mean, they do ask a couple other questions. What's the NOTAM for? You tell them UAS operations.
Oh,
Um,
let me make a note here.
and that's up there in those steps.
Okay. All right. And
They
what?
also they
Yep.
also ask if you've had a NOTAM within 30 days or recently, and I told them no because I'd never done one before that. And then
And yep.
they ask you if you're on an airport or if you're going to give them the latitude and longitude, and that's when you give them that lat and longitude. And I also asked if what I wanted the waiver for, basically, and it was because of the altitude request from me, and you would also ask for a FRIA, temporary FRIA.
That was my next question. So we need to request a temp FRIA.
Correct.
And then you get the NOTAM, and then you get the temp FRIA, you get your height. Um, and then after that, he's going to tell me, or they are going to tell me the information that I need.
That
And then I drop that in my waiver email to the AMA.
they also ask, or uh, how big of a radius from that coordinates that you give
Okay.
them that you want. And typically AMA suggests a quarter of a mile is enough, and that's 1,320 feet in every direction from your point. So that's, for the program, that should be good. It's over 2,000 feet from one end to the other.
Got it. Here's a thing that just popped in my head. What about a site like Triple Tree, which is huge?
Right.
Do they go? How do they go through a process like this?
Well, they probably do the same thing we would do, but their radius might be a little bit bigger because there's so many flight lines running at the same time.
So they're like experts in this already, since they have so many events a year. They have to go through the whole process each time. Yes.
Yeah, I would think probably Mike is the one that calls that in, I would imagine. But
Okay. So, everyone, just so you know, this fact that we're going through here with the email and all that, I will have that in a link below. I'm also going to have a feature article on flying giants and RC groups, and that's where this video will live. And I'll have all this information for you to look at. The other link that I have is right here, and that is filing a NOTAM. And is this basically giving us the same information, just in a different format?
it's a little bit different format. Yeah, but it's the same information basically.
Okay. And be sure and reference back to the video so you can figure out exactly the right numbers that you need to give the FA. Is this really it? Is that all it takes to get
Yeah,
everything done?
that's it. It's real simple. And the guy that I talked to yesterday, he was just as nice as could be. He helped me out through some things because I didn't have the right latitude and longitude format. He converted it for me from the numbers off of Google Maps that I'd given him, but it's better if you have that correct one, like we demonstrated.
I want to share while we're talking. This is off topic, but still, there we go. I just went the same page twice. I wanted to talk about, well, not that. It's the National Fun Fly for the AMA
Yeah.
2024. I see your shirt. This is what
Yep.
reminded me of it. I'll
Yeah.
jump over to that.
It's the very last weekend in June, so you got a couple more weeks, but it's one of the things you'd like to do. Most of us, if you haven't been to the museum, that'll be open and available for everyone, and that's a bucket list for a lot of modelers.
It's June 28th through the 30th. I have a
Yep.
link right here to the location with the directions and weather and how to register and all the good information.
Yep.
And then I'll promote my event one more time, Nashbro. It is September 26th to the 29th, and Leapers Fork, which is just outside of Nashville, Tennessee. And once again, if it can fly off grass, we would love to have you. But I know this video is something that people may reference for years to come. So this is more of a timely announcement. But the information that we've just gone over is something that you could use every time you have your event, just to make sure you're doing it right before you go do it.
Yep.
Randy, is there anything else we need to talk about?
Well, my show me Pro Bowl is this weekend, but it's a little late probably for that.
Right. And you travel all over the country. Every time I try to reach out, you're headed off somewhere. Is that how it goes for AMA a head honcho like
It
yourself?
it is. I was out in Washington State this past weekend for a district event, and it was very well ran and a really nice location and a great field. It was unbelievable and good filing weather. We had a ball.
If Randy ever shows up to your event, you're lucky, because there's going to be some nice tents, some chairs. There'll be the aroma of great food cooking, and who knows? You always show up with something cool, either for the kids or just in general. So I'm always excited to see you down in Nashville.
I'm happy to be there. You know that.
Well, everyone, I hope this answers your questions. Please feel free to ask questions below or answer questions below. And once again, this will be on RC Group's Flying Giants. I'm going to give you all the links that you need to be successful. And big thanks to Randy for taking time to talk to us. Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome. My
All
pleasure,
right. I'm
David.
Jim T. Graham with RC Group's Flying Giants and Heli Freak. And thanks to all of you guys that watch the videos. Please hit share and like and the button and all that stuff, and help spread the hobby and the information and how we can have events out in our own pastures successfully. All right. Thank y'all.
Thank you.